One of the most obsessive stalkers is Mark David Chapman.
I turned and aimed at his back and pulled the trigger 5 times in succession.
December 8th, 1980. John Lennon is shot dead in front of his New York apartment. Fans worldwide mourn, are outraged, and wonder why anyone would kill the former Beatles star.
We have arrested Mark David Chapman for the homicide of John Lennon.
Chapman is a self-proclaimed Beatles fan. Lennon was his childhood hero. So why does he turn on this rock star? To answer this question, Dr. Stone digs into Chapman's past.
As I study Chapman's case, I discover history plagued by internal conflict, obsessions, and addictions.
Since age 8, Chapman has worshipped the Beatles. He listens to their albums endlessly, even fantasizes about becoming a 5th band member. He loves the idea of fame. It is a way to escape troubles at home. His parents fight incessantly, violently. Chapman withdraws from them through music and an imaginary world. In it, he is the king of a village of little people. They speak to him.
The hallucinatory voices strongly suggest symptoms of schizophrenia. The voices confuse him, blur the line between reality and fantasy.
Chapman tries to quiet the voices. He immerses himself in religion. Still, the voices persist. He later turns to drugs and alcohol and withdraws further into the church.
Chapman shows signs of an addictive personality. Addicts are obsessive. They latch onto things that give them purpose and pleasure. For Chapman, religion and music became his fixations, and he would do anything to protect them both.
(1966). The Beatles are at the height of fame. But John Lennon angers some fans when he states the band is more popular than Jesus. One of those outraged is Chapman. He takes Lennon's words personally.
This was certainly a defining moment in Chapman's life. He was fanatical about the Beatles. He was fanatical about the church. Now, those two things were at odds, and the conflict ate him up inside. Unable to cope, his addictive ways turned to a new fixation: to destroy Lennon. Somehow, that would reconcile this internal conflict.
His decades-long obsession ends on December 8th, 1980. Chapman wakes in his New York hotel, displays personal items on the dresser, and scrawls the word Lennon in the Bible. At 11 a.m., Chapman leaves the hotel and waits for Lennon in front of his apartment. Still the ultimate fan, he asks the former Beatle to autograph an album. The singer agrees and leaves. 12 hours later, Lennon returns home and Chapman fires 5 times. Why couldn't Chapman let go of this 14-year grudge? What pushed him to kill? Seeking to answer these questions, Dr. Stone listens to audio tapes made after Chapman's arrest.
I killed John Lennon because I couldn't handle being a nobody anymore. I had to change. I had to live. I had to be reborn.
As I listened to his tapes, it's clear Chapman was driven by a need for fame.
The only viable solution I saw was to be born again as the murderer of John Lennon, and that's what I became.
Like most stalkers, Chapman was obsessive, fixated on an idea. His quest to kill Lennon was driven by a desire for attention, a need to inflate his ego.
Reviewing Chapman's case, Dr. Stone places him on the scale of evil.
Chapman was more in touch with reality than Bardo, which places him higher on the scale. But Chapman killed only one person, unlike Farley. That is why I place him at level 7. Killers in this category are extremely narcissistic, scheming, and driven by resentment.